our friend, Professor Alan Dershowitz, from the, let's say from the, when you think of a homeless encampment, you really think of Martha's Vineyard. And you think of the bedraggled masses that arrive every summer by the thousands to sit around in their shorts and their in their polo shirts to just with the regular people. Alan, I'm just saying this because I'm jealous because I'm not there. How are you?
Good, and you were there last year. You were one of the bedraggled masses sitting on the porch at the Chilmark store with your children, ordering a slice of pizza.
Yeah.
Look, the island's a wonderful place, and there are a lot of poor people here during the off season. And we who come for the summer devote a lot of our time to raising resources and raising funds for the hospital, for domestic
Okay, you don't have to go into all that. I know you do. I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing you, for goodness sakes.
It's a great island, but nobody's inviting me to dinner on the island anymore. I already lost another 2 pounds.
Oh, good.
Because they say you're on the Laura Ingraham show. My God, you're on Fox. You can't come to our dinners.
Oh, well, you're a Trump. This is called the Trump diet. He doesn't go on that diet, however. He's.
But by the way, I have a message for President Trump. If I could just give it directly, I hope he's listening to the show, and that is this. President Trump, I have defended your civil liberties, and I will continue to do so. But I think the time has come to stop this separation of children and parents from the border. It is a core civil liberties issue. It's a human issue. It's not about the parents who may be criminals. It's about the children who may be traumatized by this. There are better ways of doing this. If you arrest a parent with a child, send them back together. Yep. But the idea of separating them, we're better than that as a country. And I hope, Mr. President, if you're listening, that you will today end that policy, and then you can go to Congress and get changes and get rules, whatever you want, but don't hold the children hostage to changes in our policy. It's really, really important that a lot of people within the White House and the president's wife are urging him to do this, so I want to join those who are urging the president to stop that policy.
So, of course, we're not going to debate this because, sadly, I'll be able to beat you in this argument. But because this is something like you doing your issues, I've been doing this for 20 years, so I know exactly what's been happening on this score and why it happens. But I think you and I can agree that people should be reunified back in their home countries, because we can't just say 55,000 people are waved into America and when we have like 350,000 waiting legally to come in.
That's a fair point to make, and that's a fair issue. I'm just talking about the issue of immediately separating out parents. Look, I don't agree with Michael Hayden comparing it to
the Holocaust. That's nice.
A picture of Auschwitz. That's a form of Holocaust denial because it minimizes the Holocaust. And my former student Joel Pollack went to one of these places, and he describes them very differently from the way many in the media describe them. That's not my issue. My issue is the moment of separation when a child is taken away, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, taken away from a parent, not knowing what's going to happen. That has to stop, and there are ways of stopping it. So I'm not sure we disagree about that. We may disagree about other issues. Look, my grandfather helped rescue 29 people from the Holocaust, and the means he used weren't always completely kosher, completely legal. He was willing to bend the law and bend the fact to rescue these 29 people who became very distinguished American citizens, one of them the chairman of the Department of Engineering at Columbia. So I'm very sympathetic with immigrants. I come from an immigrant family. So many Americans do. But we have to resolve this issue in a reasonable and rational way.
Let's talk about
and a law-abiding way.
Yeah, let's talk about where we are with the Mueller investigation. It does seem like when you have Trey Gowdy, who's been in my view, Trey Gowdy's been fairly moderate in how he's dealt with the issue of document production and so forth. And now Ryan, Gowdy, and the rest are all saying, okay, enough is enough, because they saw documents for the first time that they had requested for the first time last week when the IG report came out, and they're done.
They're absolutely right. That statement by Strzok, which was not produced earlier, in which he said, we're going to stop Trump from being elected president. My God, you know what kind of a message that sends when you have a high-ranking FBI agent saying he's going to stop an election? He's going to stop and interfere with the legitimate election. That's more serious than the Russian intrusion into the election. If the American people come to believe that the FBI is influencing American elections, it's a very, very serious matter. And he's now going to testify in front of Congress. And the first question I would ask him is, how did you intend to stop his election? And what kind of a message does that convey to the American public that a high-ranking FBI agent is out to stop an election? That's a terrible, terrible thing, and he has to explain that, and he can't take the fifth as to that. I don't know why he still has his job. He has certainly shown that he's not qualified to be an FBI agent by not only the appearance of bias, but the reality of bias.
Also, Steve Bannon, we'll go to Bannon too, James. Steve Bannon was on ABC's This Week yesterday on the Rosenstein issue. Let's listen.
The President of the United States tomorrow should direct Rosenstein, order him. Within 48 hours, he will comply with every subpoena of documents and witnesses to Capitol Hill, to all 5 committees. Okay. And if he does not do it in 48 hours, he's fired.
Your reaction?
Well, I think the more important thing is to recuse Rosenstein. I think Rosenstein ought to be called in front of Congress, he will be, and ask the following question. Are you or are you not a witness to the firing of Comey? Did you or did you not write that memo? And how can you remain supervisor of the investigation if the investigation includes obstruction of justice for firing Comey? Unless you're willing to assure the American public right now that the firing of Comey is not an issue that Mueller is now investigating, unless you can assure him of that, you must recuse yourself. You can't be both a prosecutor and a potential witness in a case. That's ethics 1. You don't have to be a third-year law student to know that. You'll learn that in your second year.
Well, when we're looking at text messages that state, "Don't worry, basically I'll take care of it," with the lead investigator in the Hillary and the lead investigator in the Mueller probe. I mean, I know it's not an official. It would be not an official, determination here, but it all seems at some point like the fruit of the poisonous tree, that the entire thing is not looked upon by the public as a fair adjudication of the facts when the lead investigator is clearly so politically focused on stopping Trump.
Well, look, every American should be concerned when an FBI agent uses the term stop him, or get him, or insurance policy, or any of that. It shows that at least one very important investigator of the FBI had a goal in mind. It was not truth. It was not justice. It was not calling it the way the facts point out. It was a result. Stop Trump from being president. Look, I try to stop Trump from being president. I voted for Hillary Clinton. I sent contributions to Hillary Clinton's campaign. I wanted Hillary Clinton to be the president. I engaged in a legitimate effort to stop. I'm not in the FBI. An FBI agent, he didn't mean I'm going to vote. He meant something else. And I want to find out, and the American public wants to find out, what he meant by we're going to stop him from being president. The shocking thing is, if he says he's going to stop him, why didn't they reveal the fact that there was an ongoing investigation of Trump? That's the mystery. What they did helped Trump. That is, reveal the investigation of Hillary Clinton, reveal the newly found emails, and not reveal the investigation of Trump. So the mystery is he's saying in his messages that he wants to stop Trump, and yet what the FBI is doing probably helped Trump, at least may have helped Trump, according to the IG report.
Alan Dershowitz.
It's a mystery.
Well, I think what Comey said is that once they had found out, and we're learning more about the timeline. They had found out about these emails on Anthony Weiner's computer from the Southern District of New York, and the emails were all about the pornography and the child sexting or teen sexting.
Those were Weiner's emails, right?
Yeah, Weiner's emails. But so they said, well, there seem to be other emails on this, and they alerted the FBI about it, and they kind of sat on it for a month.
I know. Yeah.
But I think Comey was worried that if it came out after Hillary was elected, then the vast right-wing conspiracy would have said this whole election is a fraud, and rather than just dispense with it quickly in a quick document review, which is what they did over maybe 6 days. It took them only 6 days to review thousands of emails, I guess.
Yeah. I called for that on many TV shows. I said, you can do it in 48 hours with modern technology. Look, Comey was trying to preserve his own reputation.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be criticized for not revealing information because he believed that Clinton was going to walk away with this election. It was a shoo-in. It wasn't even a close election. So why not put his finger on the scale helping Trump, because Trump wasn't going to get elected anyway, or if you want to take a cynical view about it, if Trump gets elected, he's the hero. And if Clinton gets elected, hey, he did his job. But all in all, Comey comes off from this thing looking just awful. And what worries me is Comey is a close personal and professional associate of Mueller. And can we really trust Mueller to objectively look at Comey's role in this thing? Or is he going to protect Comey, his old friend? They were both U.S. attorneys in Boston. They were both directors, of the FBI. They were joined at the hip. I think he was the one. Look, I oppose the appointment of any special counsel under these circumstances. But if you're going to pick one, you pick a stranger. You pick somebody from the West Coast who doesn't know Comey, who doesn't know any of the players, who can be purely objective. But when you pick Comey's very close friend, that creates a problem.
Oh, these are fascinating developments. We'll continue to track them on the Ingram Angle
Good.
and on radio. Professor Dershowitz, thank you so much.